Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Now I know it's been a little while since I actually talked to you guys one-on-one, but today's gonna be a little different. Today's video is about going into the new college football 2025 to 26 season. Now, of course, we're gonna go over the top 25 real quickly, but the actual season doesn't start until August 20-something. So, of course, it's still middle of July right now. But even though the actual season hasn't started, the JSN season has started. So, hope you guys have been enjoying the content and the videos that we've been posting for you guys. But we're going to get into the top 25 teams going into the new year. And, yeah, let's get into it. First on the list is Alabama. Now, I know this comes to a shock for most people. Alabama being the first overall team rated here. They didn't make the playoffs last year. We don't understand why. Well, listen, the committee has decided that Alabama is the best team in college football going into the new year. Honestly, a quick reason why that might be is, honestly, they have a ton of good returning pieces coming back. Of course, the star quarterback, Jalen Milroe, got drafted, and a couple other guys got drafted last year in the draft. Hopefully, we can see Jalen Milroe play for the Seahawks this upcoming late summer and in the preseason and in the regular season when it starts in September. But the big thing that, of course, we're all looking forward to is seeing if Alabama can actually make the playoffs this year. Of course, Alabama's been a strong, dominant team past years with, of course, their star head coach, Hall of Fame head coach, Nick Saban, coming in with Kate DeBoer, second year with Alabama. We can see, hopefully, if they can make a run for the playoff. I mean, it's 12 teams that can make the playoffs this year, so, they just got to start in hard, go heavy, and play to win. And their first game this year is going to be versus Florida State. The Seminoles are, I believe, going to go meet them in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. So, of course, it'll be very interesting, a very prime-time, beautiful game to go watch. Hopefully, Ryan Williams and their new quarterback, I don't know his name, but he'll have a picture on the screen. Hopefully, they can both carry this Alabama team to the promised land. And, it's very, 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 I don't want to say, it's very gracious, there we go, that they've been ranked number one, even though they didn't do shit last year, but we'll see what they can do this year. Number two, second-ranked team going into this new year is, of course, the national championship. First time the 12-team playoff has ever been played in college football, champion Texas Longhorns. Now, the Texas Longhorns coming off a great season. Quinn Ewers, of course, getting drafted. And a couple other guys. Matt Golden, these guys are getting drafted. And, going into this new year, Arch Manning's at the helm of the Texas football program. Their star quarterback now going into his, he's been in the league. I mean, he's been in college maybe 2, maybe 3 years. But now it's his time to shine. And he is said to be starting for Texas going into this new season. Of course, we all know Texas won the championship last year. So, of course, beliefs are high. Everyone has hope that Texas will go back-to-back. Definitely Texas has to make the playoffs coming off that national championship win. If they fall and lose and go to a bowl game, that's a tragic way to follow up that past season. But, everyone has belief and hope that, Texas can, do what they got to do to get this win and hopefully bring home another trophy. But, of course, the third-ranked team who Texas will be playing the first game of the season, they're going to be at, I believe, is Ohio State, the Ohio State. Now, Ohio State, of course, they got their star quarterback and their star linebacker taken by the draft last year and a couple other guys. But this team is dominant, and Jeremiah Smith will hopefully carry this team to the national championship. Now, Ohio State almost made the championship last year, except they did kind of fall to Notre Dame, who was later on this list. But they're going in. They got to come in strong, and they got to play their game. They got to do what they know they have to do. And I believe that, of course, if everything goes fine for Ryan Day and this Ohio State team, that they will make the playoff, and they should make the playoff. Now, next is Penn State, and Penn State, they went deep in the playoffs. Now, Penn State, they went deep into the playoffs, of course, coming off a great season last year. Their first playoff game was against Clemson, who they somehow got out of. Even though they're playing at home, they're able to survive and move on to the next round off a crazy pass that really saved their season. Then they had to go play LSU, and LSU was pretty much undefeated all season last year, but they're able to upset LSU, the number 1 ranked LSU Tigers, and somehow the 8th ranked Penn State Nittany Lions came out of that Chick-fil-A Bowl and moved on to the next round. Then that is where they met the Texas Longhorns in the Cotton Bowl, which they ended up falling to Texas in the Cotton Bowl. Even though they played a great game, Texas was on one that year, and somehow they got out of there alive. So, of course, congrats to Penn State for making it that far, even though they didn't end up making the actual the playoff championship. But they did try their hardest, and you have to commend them for that. The Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Now, the Irish, of course, we all know they made the championship last year. Now, I don't know why they're so far down on this list, but it is what it is. So, just looking at their accolades from last year, coming off a great season, honestly, they didn't have too hard of competition. They played Texas A&M first. They're not playing them again this year, but they played them at Texas A&M first week of the season last year. Of course, they had the week 0 game versus UConn. Then they lost to NIU, I believe. Then, of course, they had Louisville, Purdue, Miami, and Stanford, Georgia Tech, Navy. Then they played Oregon State, which was not a crazy game. At this time, they were ranked 19th. Then they had to go on and take on the Florida State Seminoles. Now, the Florida State was not ranked, but I believe they shut down Florida State to move on. Now, they're still ranked number 17th, but then they beat Virginia. Then they got ranked 12th, and then they beat Army. So then they're still 12th going into the last week of the season, where they beat USC. Now, this is important. They needed to beat USC to move on to the playoffs, of course. So after they beat USC, they got ranked number 7, and they went to go play the number 10 Colorado Buffaloes in that first round of the college football playoff, which they won. Great game, classic game. Then the 7th ranked Notre Dame had to go fight Boston College, who was ranked number 2. They had a bye the previous week. They lost to Notre Dame. So now Notre Dame moves on to go play, of course, the one and only Ohio State. Now, they're able to shut down Ohio State pretty much the entire game. Great game, but their further and now present opponent is, of course, the Texas Longhorns. Now, Texas, they were on one this year, and they were very dangerous. So going in to go play Texas, they ended up losing, of course. Great game. Texas honestly was going crazy that year in this game. So, we can't really fault them too much for that, but congratulations for Notre Dame making it this far. Of course, going into this new season, high hopes. Notre Dame should make the playoff or at least make a bowl game. I know, of course, Riley Leonard is out. He's not there anymore. He got drafted, but you still have Jeremiah Love, who hopefully will carry this team, of course, to the playoff or at least a high bowl game. Now, next on the list, I know it's a little bit of a longer video, but of course we have to get to all these teams because these teams, they all have promise pretty much this year. So going into the 6th ranked team so far going into this new season is the Georgia Bulldogs. Now, Georgia had a trash year last year. Why they're ranked so high is because of the promise going into this year. Of course, they don't have Christian Beck because he transferred to Miami. So, going into this season, Georgia, again, like Alabama, is expected to be very good. Now, is Georgia going to win a ton of games? We don't know. But it's always this ray of hope. The team that's been good for so many years, they had an off year. Hopefully they'll bounce back. Now, we don't know if this is actually going to happen this year. Hopefully it does. Hopefully they're able to somehow, win a ton of games, make a bowl game or the playoff. We don't know yet, but it'll be interesting to see what happens. Now, of course, their first game is versus Marshall. Then they play another FCS school in Austin Peay. Then they play Tennessee. Then they play Alabama. Then they play Kentucky. Then they play Auburn. Then they play Ole Miss. Then they play Florida. Then they play Mississippi State. Then they play Texas. Then they play Charlotte. Then Georgia Tech. So, if we're looking at their schedule, Georgia Tech should be a win for them. Charlotte should be a win for them. Mississippi State should be a win for them. Kentucky should be a win for them. Even though Kentucky came off a great game so far in this season, they played their first game a couple days ago. But hopefully that should be a win for them. Austin Peay should be easy win. Marshall should be easy win. So looking at it right now, that's 5 easy wins for Georgia. Now the other games in Tennessee, Alabama, Auburn, Ole Miss, Florida, Texas, those are harder games that hopefully they'll be able to come out of alive. But we don't know yet. So we'll just have to see. Gunnar Stockton is, of course, going to be at the helm, taking over this Georgia team as their new starting quarterback. And we'll just have to see what they got in the bag in store for us this season. Now, really quickly, I'm going to just speed through these next couple teams. So 7th is Clemson. Clemson's coming off a good year. Again, I've already said this. They made the playoff last year. They got lost or upset to Penn State. But they're going into this new year heads high, ready to dominate on the field. Texas A&M, they had a kind of a down year last year. They're expected to be high as well, so they're ranked higher. Oregon, they had a great year last year. They were kind of iffy. They lost to Purdue in a crazy upset. They're number 1 ranked at the time they lost to Purdue. How do you let that happen? They weren't that good. They were okay. They're okay. But going into this year, of course, they don't have Dylan Gabriel anymore. But after that week 0 preseason game versus, I think it was Rice, they looked okay. They looked fine. Their first game versus Montana State. Of course, Montana State is a very good FCS program. But, of course, they're going to be playing Oregon first game of the season. Then they play Oklahoma State. Then they play Northwestern. Then they play Oregon State. Then they play Penn State, Indiana, Rutgers, Wisconsin, Iowa, Minnesota, USC, and Washington. So, honestly, their schedule isn't that hard yet. Washington looks promising. USC looks promising. Minnesota should be an easy win. Iowa should maybe be an easy win. We don't know yet. Wisconsin, they kind of look promising. Rutgers should be an easy win. Indiana looks really promising. Penn State looks promising. Oregon State, we don't know yet. Northwestern looks a little promising. Or Oklahoma State, we don't really know that yet. I mean, they literally got upset by a random FCS team. So Oklahoma State could be a little bummer this season, and Montana State should be a good little battle. These teams either fall or rise in the standings, all right? So I love y'all so much, and hope y'all have a good summer, and peace out.